It's amazing. The auditorium is still the same at Horace Mann Junior High. The front is still the same. They put some paint on it, but it's basically still the same.
You get here in the 7th grade, what are we talking about, 1970 what?
Like 73, I guess.
And there's no conflict between...
No.
There's no Crip conflict at that time?
No, there was no Crip conflict at all then. You know, everybody, like I said, you could really, back then, all the 8 trades and the 60s went to school here. Because remember, we all was only across, like, western from each other, so we all went to school. There was no conflict back then. But back then, let me tell you something that was funny. You know, even though you had your gang members back then, it was funny, and I know a lot of guys that's looking at this that went to Horace Mann and tell you this, that came from my era. When there was a fight getting ready to happen on the yard in here, you'll see like about 50 people mobbing to see this fight. They look like a swarm of bees, seriously. And one day I asked him, I was in the 7th grade, I said, look, man, I want to ask you something. I said, why do everybody mob like that in that big crowd like that? He said, look, man, if you mob with the crowd, right, you won't be a victim. Nobody won't get you. I guess so. But you had some dudes that ended up being notable gang members that was here. They made their mark here, you know. They were some hard dudes, you know. Like my boy Moncrief, Herman Moncrief. He was already in junior high school on swole, you know, knock you out fast, you know. And this were Mo from 9-0, Maurice Machon, he went here. And the thing about it, when he was here, let me tell you something, don't go in the bathroom because you're supposed to be a victim. He was the one that if you standing around him, you didn't know if you was gonna get your ass kicked. That's how he was. So nobody liked to be, like if you could be in the bathroom, right, combing your hair, he would just walk up to the bathroom and kick the door open because it was swinging doors back then in here. And you got bust in your face on what you was gonna do. As soon as you got up off the ground, you seen it was Mo, you just have to accept your loss, you know? The boy was something else. I mean, I liked him, you know, but he was something else. But you know, remember when I told you when he got killed at an early age? Well, it was due to, you know, the way he was.
He just ran up on too many people.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah, he did it that.
Now, your little brother, 2 years younger than you, was also from 9-0.
Yeah, now that's my brother Marty. He was from 9-0. You know what I'm saying? And he ended up meeting with, like I said, back then you had the original Mad Dog, which is Michael Bell. Then you had Underdog, you know, Daryl Banks, that's Ponytail, Guy Murray, you know, the Yates brothers. You know, those was, you know, like they little crew they ran with. Then, you know, like I said, you had the original 9-0s, Cody Brown, Chris Walker, Psycho, Kerry Brown, who else? You had all them guys like that, you know. So that was the nucleus of the 9-0 gangsters, you know. But they was allies with us even when they were gangsters, you know, because nobody wasn't doing the gangster neighborhood thing back then. You know, that didn't come until later on when everybody started warning, picking sides, choosing who they wanted to be with.
So what did your brother do when the sides came in, picking sides came in?
No, when he stayed 9-0, you know? So it wasn't the thing where he had to like, well, I got to pick on my brother's side because we warned. We was already allies, so it was no problem. You know, I go up to the 90s, they'll come down here and we'll kick it. You know, we never had no problems with them at all.
Oh yeah, that's right, because then they became neighborhoods anyways.
Yeah, and so we never had no problems with them before they became, switched over to neighborhood, you know?
Because the idea of neighborhood gangster conflict, that wasn't even heard of.
No, it wasn't. You know, and like I said, the 9-0s, they was like my tightest allies, and the UGs. You know, Whack from UG, that's my dog. I used to go in the UGs and kick it over there. Because like I said, then I used to go in the 111s, you know, kick it with the Bird brothers, you know. And T-Bone, rest in peace, from 111, that's Mac, you know, Bulldog, you know, and all them dudes, you know.
What about anybody from Block you hung out
Oh
with?
yeah, the Blocks, yeah, they was right around Horace Mann. You know, you had Beer Can, and who else?
You mean Washington High?
Yeah, Washington High, but that was, the Blocks was over by Washington High, like in the front, like 11 Trey, stuff like that, 11-5, you know. And, but, you know, like I said, you know, I was friends with all them guys because I never did anything, right? to betray the trust with them at all, you know. Even with the 7/8, why they was hustlers, you know. But the 7/8, you know, they had some down characters in there. They may have been hustlers, but they wasn't no punks. But I do remember only one shooting that happened at the school. A guy named Bobby White, he got shot in the hand in the back of the school, right where the gate was, you know. And I think it was I don't know if it was the Fruit Towns or the VNGs, but it was they had shot through the gate and hit him in the hand with a .22, you know. So, but it wasn't nothing serious though.
Since you were heavy into music, did you take a music class
Oh yeah,
here?
I did. Yeah. Matter of fact, the music teacher here was Mr. Hoskins. You know, Willie E. Hoskins. So he was the music teacher here, right? And I used to be in a band here with him. You know, he had a nice band. He had a marching band and like a funk band here, you know. But it was he was a good music teacher, you know. And we used to go to like other schools and play. You know, it was a guy named Duro Taylor. He was bad on guitar, you know. He was like a young Ernie Isley, you know, in the 8th grade, but he was bad, you know.
Did anyone ever used to tell you, man, you so talented with the music stuff, why are you in the streets too?
Well, see, the thing about it is I was in a band, right, like in 78, right? It didn't go nowhere. Then I got in another one, didn't go nowhere. Then I got in the third one, and it lasted about a good 10 years, right? But like I said, we didn't go nowhere. You know, it was just actually for fun and shows, that's all. And but so that's why like I said, that's why I'm doing my music now, right, on YouTube, and you know, see if somebody pick it up. If they like it, you know, give me a call.
All right, so we're gonna head to Crenshaw. So you finished up here in the 9th grade. What was your 9th grade like, and how'd you ended up finishing up?
No,
here?
I ended up finishing up the 9th grade, you know, and then I ended up going to Crenshaw, and that's why I ended up graduating.
All right, we're gonna head over to Crenshaw High.
Okay, let's go.
Crenshaw High, technically in VN hood, but known as a 60s school.
Yeah, well, now it's known as anybody's school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're at Crenshaw High School, 50th and 11th Ave. I went to this school, high school years, and this is where I graduated from. You know?
And what years we talking about?
Up to 1979 after I left Horace Mann, 75, 76 to 79. And I ended up graduating at this school. You know, I got here. I ended up getting in the band also here to further my music. Now back then, like I said, the 60s, 8-trays, some of the Harlems and the 40s, we all went to the school, you know? So it was like, we were still tight. Because like I said, it wasn't no beef or no animosity towards anybody.
And who do you remember from back then coming here with you?
Well, like I said, the ones that you was like running through here, that if they wasn't in like going to Washington or continuation school, right? We all used to be up there, like I said. Shyster was here for a minute, but I think he ended up going to Washington, you know. And me, Moncrief, Keith Stone, Mumpy, who else? Doe-Eye, Mel Rock, you know, Mad Ronnie. The majority of all of us went here. And some of the Harlems that I knew here, like Mark Jolly, you know what I'm saying, Crazy Keith, you know, and a lot of those dudes, right? Spook, we all knew each other, you know? So, like I said, but we all had, it was a good friendship here. And the first wave of 40s, right, that was back then, they was on this side, the neighborhood 40s on the west side. They was the first 40s. A lot of us here, a lot of people didn't think that a lot of Crips back then and gang members was actually intelligent, but I will say, from my era, we went to school and graduated. A lot of us were intelligent. It was just we did crazy stuff, you know? So just because we went to school and graduated, that don't mean you ain't capable of doing crazy ass shit. Dude, we go up to other schools, right, to gang bang, and then when we do what we gotta do, we hit the gate and take off, you know? And that's the only reason why we went up to other schools, just to make our presence known. That's all.
And you guys have a long conflict with the families in Inglewood.
Yeah, well, we had conflict with them way back in the 70s, you know, way before the 8-tray gangster beef.
Yeah, when it was even chain gang.
Yeah, you know, because I knew a lot of the old Inglewood families, you know. I knew a lot of them dudes, you know. And, you know, A-Bay, Phil, Bill, Beebs, the Bones, the twins, the Boxy twins, You know, Ricochet, Dirty Red. Who else? I can go on and on with them, with their names that I knew them, you know. But yeah, but that's, yeah, we used to war with them all the time. And a lot of stuff with them was a lot of fist fights too. You know, guys really wasn't, when we was going at it with them, we wasn't really pulling no triggers like we was. You know, that didn't come to later on until like really with the A-Trade thing, you know. So we was doing a lot of fist fighting back there in them days.
So the last year you're here in '79 is really the first year of the war. So that was that transition time.
Yes, because I was on my way out, and that war was really just starting. It was really just starting. So, you know, everybody was, I could say they was a few years away from prison.
Now we was on the east side in front of Raymond's house, and we got one of Raymond's kids here with us, Rayshana. How did you end up meeting Rayshana?
Well, like I said, I already knew her uncle and her dad, right, and her grandma, you know. So I'm, you know, on Facebook, and they said, you know, that's Rayshana. I said, wow, she looked just like him.
We actually crossed paths at the Crenshaw game, homecoming game.
Yeah, because we were stay in touch on Facebook, right? And then I came up to the game and, you know, finally seen her, you know. But like I said, when I looked, I was like, wow, the resemblance. Because if you know somebody or live next to them for a long time, then you finally see their kids, right? Then you be like, wow, look just alike.
I get to visualize some of the stuff that they used to do back then, you know, and the stuff that they did back then, I wish we could do it today, you know, be able to go in certain neighborhoods and just kick it with certain people without having to watch over our shoulder or having people just, you know, mess with us, period. The times back then and the times today is just a different ball game. There's no structure, no leadership, no guidance. And some of the stories that he done told, it's like, if we can go back then and do it now, it'd be a whole better place.
How do we end this gangster neighborhood conflict? Is it possible? Is there a way to bring it to a conclusion?
Look, the only way that's going to end, that's by self-choice. You can't end something, like I said, when you got somebody holding in some pride, right? Or pretending like you can't tell me what to do, that's why it's always going to stay like it is. If a lot of guys stop low-key disrespecting each other or trying to pretend that they gang is tougher than the next gang, you wouldn't have these problems, because that's the main thing why gangs war with each other. It's about, I'm tougher than you, you know, or I'm going to show off. You know, showing off will get you killed.
Thanks for watching StreetGangs.com. Please like and share the video you just watched and leave a comment below to tell us what you think. You can also watch 2 of our previous episodes to the right. Please visit the link to our Patreon page and support our campaign. And don't forget to subscribe.